Crazy. So, as many of you may know, YNW Melly is still trying to figure out when his court date's going to be. There's been back and forth between the prosecution, the defense team, YNW Melly, Judge Fiend, and now we are actually going to get a visual and see that YNW Melly is really in charge of what's going on, because he has an instance here where they're going back and forth with the judge and trying to figure out what they're going to do about this court date. And YNW Melly is just sick of being in jail. You can tell he wants to get this. He wants to get this trial done. Already had to go through it once. He knows he's got to go through it again. And it's interesting to see this interaction here. Y'all check it out and see what went down.
To reconsider or order moving forward with the trial on September the 10th. This trial date remains set on September the 10th. We did that last July 8th, 2024. Although there's no motion to continue filed. I did read the motion. I guess I'll treat this as a motion to continue. I did read the authority cited therein. I did read again, Florida Statute 924-071. Additional grounds for appeal by state, time for taking and the stay of cause. I likewise again reviewed the omnibus order on defendant's motion suppressed 1 through 13, which was entered by Judge Murphy on December the 20th, 2023. I also reviewed the order from Judge Murphy denying the defendant's motion to set aside stay, an order granting the defendant's motion to modify the stay to allow discovery to proceed. That's entered May 2nd, 2024. I likewise reviewed a Florida Supreme Court case called Mitchell v. State, 911, 7-2nd, 1211. It's a Supreme Court case, September 2005, regarding the serious constitutional issues that are implicated if the state were to be automatically entitled to stay the effect of the decision adverse to the state in a criminal proceeding. So, understanding that I've already looked at all of that, state, anything else that you would want to tell me in support of your motion?
No, Judge. My motion basically covers the previous court's orders, the statute, the case law in terms of how this case is stayed.
Okay. Defense. You all want the case to be stayed?
Oh, here we go.
The state says it's stayed, so should you agree with their motion or do you not agree?
Can we have one moment?
Sure.
All right, so now this is where they confer with their client, and check out YNW Melly here. I was honestly surprised by this interaction. They're explaining everything to him. This man's done. He's ready to get out of there. He said, no, he said, let's go. He said, I'm tired. Dang. He's done. Melly said, let's go. Let's get this over with. This man's ready to get it over with. So check out what happens next. He said, I want to be out. His lawyer said, don't talk to me like that. And Melly just laughed at him. Wow. Tensions are high.
Yes, sir.
This dude has been in there so much of his life. It's insane. And he said, against our advice, our client wants to proceed. Wow.
Against our advice, our client wants to proceed.
You object to their request for me to determine if it's automatic stay.
Based upon what our client has instructed us, yes, sir.
Wow.
Okay, so let me make the record crystal clear on this one issue. I am aware that 924-071 calls for an automatic stay while the state is
Melly's ready to get
appealing
out.
some order that they want to appeal. In this particular case, Mr. Dennis will be charging up. So, state enhanced fees, and I'm going to ask that please. Judge Murphy entered his motion to suppress, which is the subject of the appeal. He entered this order on December 20th, 2023. That was 568 pages.
Jesus.
And in that order,
A year and a half.
he says at the end, the court has not been moved to consider the suppression of specific evidence. It is up to the party to inform the court as to what specific evidence falls within the suppression order and what specific evidence is admissible pursuant to that order. When we were here on the defendant's renewed motion for bond on May 6th, that was 65 days. I asked you all, had you gotten together and figured out what specific evidence
They're
falls within the
proposing they
suppression?
delay court. Excuse
I'm
me.
going to guess that hasn't happened.
No, Judge, I made the proffer to the court last time as to what that evidence would be.
It was basically penalty phase, for lack of a better term.
No, they were aggravators. They go to membership in a gang. There are things that the jury would have to find before going into penalty.
Not aggravators as to the death penalty,
Right.
aggravators as to the gang enhancement itself, not that was charged. He was charged in committing the murder for the furtherance of the gang, which is an aggravator in terms of the guilt.
Something that they would have to find by way of an interrogatory.
Yes.
Yes.
That's tough, man.
Objection, that's not.
That's not correct. You all don't agree on it.
No, we don't.
No, what you just said, we do not agree on. Here is,
I'm sorry. Have you all done what Judge Murphy ordered you to do in 2023? It is up to the party to inform the court as to what specific evidence falls within the suppression order and what specific evidence is admissible pursuant to this order. You got on that?
may I answer the question this way? At that time, the state appealed it all, which stayed everything. And so, at this point, the law on whether or not Judge Murphy was right or not is all up at the fourth, and it stayed. We can't determine that in a stayed case. It stayed.
You can't talk to the state and decide what this applies to.
I just argued what I have to argue, Judge.
Well, I want
You're
you to-
saying
sir, I
it
just-
stayed
I
for
want
only
you-
one purpose,
I want you to
but
answer my
not.
question.
The answer is we are stayed and unable to do so.
You don't even know what evidence the order is.
No, I believe we do, and I think that's on appeal at the fourth.
So you guys are asking what happened. Basically what happened is they're talking about evidence and they're talking about a motion to stay. They were trying to delay this trial even more because they just haven't been able to get on the same page when it comes to evidence, when it comes to trial proceedings. We had an issue with Raven Liberty. We've had an issue with the judge having to tell Melly he gets an opportunity to decide if he wants to keep his attorneys or not. So there was almost a delay there. There's just been delay after delay after delay after delay. And now we have another issue here where they're going back and forth about evidence. It just seems like that this trial is always something. And again, keep in mind, this is the second time this is happening. So I'm not going to continue to play the rest of the court coverage here. You guys can check this out. I'll leave a link in the description, but let me know what you think about this Melly just wanting to get to court. Was it a mistake by him rushing things along and moving forward? Should he have waited, made sure they get everything together? Y'all let me know what you think in the comments in the chat.